This is the fifth and last video PD on Understanding by Design. Today we will be exploring Stage 3, Learning Plan. Let's circle back. Think about our last UbD video PD session number 4. What is something that you learned about UbD Stage 2? Do you have any questions about UbD Stages 1 or 2? Turn to a neighbor and share. Here are our guiding questions for today's session. Number 1. What are the components that make up UbD Stage 3 Learning Plan? Number 2. Why is it important that Stage 3 is aligned to Stages 1 and 2? And number 3, how can Stage 3 ensure effective and engaging instruction? As was mentioned in Stage 1 and needs to be revisited again in Stages 2 and 3, it is all about the alignment between the 3 stages. As you design Stage 1, you need to ensure that there is alignment between all of the components within this stage. Then, when you start to design Stage 2, the designer needs to ensure that the assessments developed all align to the highly leveraged standards, supporting standards, and constant standards that are unwrapped and stacked in Stage 1. This takes time, but ensures a well-developed and quality assessment for your students. Then, as Stage 3 is developed, all of the lessons need to scaffold to ensure students will be ready to show mastery on the summative assessment. TUSD has 5 critical components that need to be addressed in each lesson in the Stage 3 Learning Plan. They are
sequencing the standard segments, writing the lesson objective, planning effective and engaging activities, developing the closure and exit ticket, and placing the formal, formative, and common formative assessments.
Here's what you need to know about sequencing the standard segments.
Standard segments are the standards unwrapped and stacked to show how many levels of rigor and the tasks that align to that level of thinking. Please refer to the handout called 2018-2019 ELA Grade 8, Quarter 1, Unit 2. Focus on the unwrapping and stacking portion. Standard 8.RL.2 has 3 standard segments. They are coded with the 1, 2, and 3. Each of these needs to be coded the first or every time that the standard segment is taught in the Stage 3 learning plan.
A couple of reminders about writing the lesson objective. Each standard segment turns into a lesson objective. For instance, Standard 8.RL.2 might read, I can provide an objective summary of the text. Here is what you could think about when planning effective and engaging activities. Here is where your creativity and knowledge of best practices comes into play. How are you going to ensure your students get the needed information, have the right questions asked and answered, and practice the knowledge and skills you are asking them to learn? Some best practices resources to consider are classroom instruction that works, research-based strategies for increasing student achievement, habits of mind, and UbD, the 2nd edition. Here's what you need to think about when developing the closure or exit ticket.
Madeline Hunter, in her book called Mastery Teaching, defines closure as a mental process that allows the students to summarize the learning that they have just experienced. Closure must be aligned to the lesson objective. If the closure is written on an exit ticket with the student's name on it, this can be used as a formative assessment.
We have discussed formal formative and common formative assessments during our PLC video series sessions, so we will not go into detail here. If you would like a refresher course on formal formative and common formative assessments, please refer to the PLC video session number 6. The important thing to remember for Stage 3 is that the formal formative and common formative assessment needs to be placed every 3 to 5 lessons to check students' retention of the taught content, and to plan for interventions if needed during the next lesson.
Plan for a formal formative and common formative assessment every 3 to 5 lessons. This will depend on the complexity of the content, the skill level of the teacher in teaching the content, and the skill level of the students in learning the content. Formal formatives CFAs should cover the block of content taught so that interventions, if needed, can be provided for the students the very next lesson after the assessment was administered.
So what makes a lesson effective and engaging? Think about this. Can a lesson be engaging but not effective? Can a lesson be effective but not engaging? Turn to a neighbor and discuss. Be ready to share. Here is what Dr. Wiggins and McTighe say about effective and engaging.
Engaging. Work that is thought-provoking, meaningful, and energizing. For example, engaging work pulls you into the subject and makes you want to go deeper and learn more. Effective. Learning is successful. That is, the desired results are achieved as fully and as efficiently as possible. For example, effective learning causes you to become more intellectually capable and skillful.
Years ago, in 1978, Dr. Madeline Hunter published a book called Teach for Transfer. It was a wonderful book for its time. I ask you, what does it mean to teach for transfer? Talk with your table team and see what you come up with. Let's practice creating a learning plan. Please refer to these 3 handouts: UbD Stage 3 Learning Plan, the 2018-2019 ELA Grade 8 Quarter 1 Unit 2 Stage 3 Learning Plan, and the UbD Stage 1 Sampling for Learning Plan Practice. It is time for you to practice your new or validated learning. This is an abbreviated unit, only 8 days in length. The summative assessment goes on day number 8. We would like you to practice creating a Stage 3 learning plan for days 1 through 7, including the TUSD critical components for each lesson in the unit.
Sequence the standard segments into a logical scaffolded order. Write a lesson objective for each standard segment. Plan engaging and effective activities to allow students an opportunity to learn and practice the lesson objective. Design a closure or exit ticket prompt to check for students' learning of the objective. Place formal, formative, and/or common formative assessments appropriately every 4 to 6 lessons.
Thank you for your time and engagement with today's video. We hope that you are leaving with some new and validated learning. At this time, we are going to ask you, in a nutshell, explain UbD Stages 1, 2, and 3 to a partner.